Today's Tuesday. Good morning. I'm your friend, Scotty Ray. It is Tuesday. Can y'all believe that? Well, I tell you, the days are flying by as we get rolling into March. It is March the 5th. What does that mean? It's Super Tuesday. A lot of Americans will go to the polls today to vote to choose their candidate on the Democrat side and also on the Republican side. I think it's mostly already thought that, well, we know who the two will be. Joe Biden on the Democrat side and, of course, Trump on the Republican. Nikki's still hanging in. She refuses to quit. We'll give you the results as that plays out today. We got some opinions of that coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. I hope you'll join us as we get this day underway. A lot of information coming your way also of local headlines, and we'll get into a few other things as always. As we start today, we'll be right back with some, headlines that are making America this morning. What's shaping America that you need to know about? We'll tell you all of that. Right now, let's get our good word for the day. Let's head out to Collinsville, the First Baptist Church.
As a sophomore in college, I remember having to take a speech class. For whatever reason, when I was scheduled to give my first public speech to the class, I was mortified. Maybe it was the fact that I was being graded for the first time or that I was speaking to a group of peers. Anyway, I don't get as worked up as I did that day when called on to speak today. When Paul is writing towards the end of his letter to the Ephesians, he says in chapter 6, verses 19 and 20, "Pray also for me that whenever I open my mouth, words may be given to me so that I will fearlessly make known the mystery of the gospel for which I am an ambassador in chains. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should." You know, the challenge for your pastor when he stands at the pulpit each Sunday is not found so much in being able to wax eloquently or in struggling to speak before a group. Most preachers speak pretty well. The challenge is in making sure Sunday after Sunday that he fearlessly makes known the mystery of the gospel, giving the church a word from God. This is an immense task and one for which God will hold a pastor accountable. One of the best ways you can affirm your pastor is not telling him how well he did on his delivery, but that you are praying for him as he takes on the responsibility of fearlessly declaring the gospel each and every week as he should. Pray for your pastor. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. We're starting this morning out at 63. We should get around 72, but be ready. We'll get rain today. There is a little bit of a chance. 90% chance we'll get wet. As a matter of fact, let's look at radar. So if you're starting your commute this morning, you'll kind of know what's happening with that. Then we'll get into the weather in just a moment. Here's a look at radar this morning, showing a lot of fog around Vicksburg and out to our west, as you'll see this from Texarkana over to Shreveport to Monroe. A lot of rain. And of course, if you're down on the coast of Florida, anywhere on the Alabama coast or Biloxi, it's going to be a wet one this morning as well. Pensacola getting pounded on right now, and still a lot of fog there in Savannah. A few showers there in northern Mississippi on that eastern side there. That's a look at radar. We'll get back to all of that here in just a little bit. As we mentioned, it's voting day, and I hope you can make it out for that. Let's see what's happening in America today. JetBlue, I think we've heard of it before. It is getting squashed, the deal that was being made between them and Spirit. It's not going to happen. Government stepped in. There's too much red tape, and the merger will never happen if you were keeping up with that. So that is off this morning. CDC, I think everybody quit listening to that about a couple of years ago. They're now saying that it's okay that you don't have to wait after symptoms are gone for 5 days to go back to the general public. How long did that take? Yeah, one of the reasons that our economy tanked. Thank you, CDC. Just letting you know what they're saying. It doesn't quite add up to the way society has to work. It changed and changed, but that's the latest headlines that we're getting from the CDC. I don't know how after 1995, that would be 29 years ago, a car was stolen in the UK. They found it this week. 29 years ago. I mean, seriously, a stolen car, you can't drive it around if you know it's stolen. You can't show it. What's the purpose of stealing a car that you can't ever own legally?
Yeah,
I don't get it. Now, it was an expensive car. It was a Ferrari. Pretty car, but really? That and like people that go and steal these famous art paintings, you can never show it off in public. Hang it on your wall. I don't follow the criminal's mind on things like that. Does anybody else get that? Like if you steal the Mona Lisa.
I'll get some artwork over
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah, most people would show it off. That's just my thoughts. Ohio is where we go this morning. A mail carrier fatally shot while on the job. They are thinking early into the investigation that this was a target. Again, it happened in Ohio. We hate that went on. He didn't make it out of that. He was 33 years old. I think it becomes a higher crime when you hurt someone that works for the Postal Service. That's a higher crime because they are delivering mail. So when caught, it will be a lot to pay on that one there. Most Americans, and I've seen this several times over the last few months, of financial burdens. What are they? Well, the survey says it's parents having to help their adult kids from time to time because it's rough out there. That's what they're saying as we look at all of this. In other headlines this morning, Nashville, late yesterday afternoon. Have y'all seen this? We posted a picture a moment ago. We had a plane crash on I-40. All 5 passengers of the plane died in the wreck. Burst into flames. It's sad. We do hate it happened. As we keep looking at our big stories here, as I have said, I don't put a lot of faith into one week they say eggs are good for you, the next week they're not. It's wonderful for you. This week they're trying to tell you that Diet Coke is bad for you. Next week it'll cure everything.
Diet Coke's been bad for you forever.
It's just people trying to be irrelevant, I think. I don't know. I was taught as a young kid that if you're sick, drink Coca-Cola, it'll make you feel better. It always mentally made me feel better, no whether or not it did. They're not going to put me in any science book with my theories, though. It's just my thoughts there. You have to drink 7 of those a week, and it's bad for you, is what they're saying there. What are the chances of this? You remember the Mary Chapin Carpenter song, I Feel Lucky? Well, sometimes it is. A guy walks into Massachusetts, walks in, buys a scratch-off ticket. He wins $500. Well, he reinvests his $500 and walks away $1 million winner. Same store, same location. What are the odds of that happening? That's shocking. Boy, oh boy. Who's the richest man in the world? It's been taken back over. Elon Musk slips a notch as Jeff Bezos sold some more stuff on Amazon. He's now the richest man in America. Interesting, isn't it? I hope you had a chance yesterday to join us, and we'll talk about this also this morning, as we were downtown Meridian, as we went into Shaloop, the shoe factory. Did anybody get to see that? It is pretty darn neat to watch that being made there. If you haven't, go back and watch that video. We'll be back with your weather forecast next. We got a big morning planned up for you. You got some questions about the roads in Lauderdale County. We got the man that can answer it. The man behind the scene there, the road foreman, Rush. He'll be in with us today. We'll be right back to go into that weather forecast next as we begin our day.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our communities efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike Reed has years of experience dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Starting this morning out at 63 right now, headed for a high of 72 and 90% chance of the wet stuff. Carry an umbrella with you before you leave or a rain jacket, especially if you have to work outdoors. You're going to need that before it's over. As we look at our record highs and record lows, there it is, all in black and white there. Today in 1974, it was 85 degrees. 78 was a cold year as we hit 18 again. 1978. That was cold. As we look at this, 72 today, as you'll see here, heavier rain in the Lauderdale County area and the eastern side of Neshoba through Kemper, down through Jasper, and also Clark counties. And that'll be a little bit lighter as you get toward the Mississippi Delta, but we'll see some rain here in the Meridian area. Here it is in Bama. It'll even rain heavier as we see highs of 70, 69 in Tuscaloosa, even cooler in Birmingham with that high only being 66. Auburn, how about that 65 over there? There we go. As we look at this, this is the chance of severe weather. Now, severe weather will lie west of us. Laurel will be the closest place that it gets us today, and it will split there about Scott County. The furthest, if you're driving to Jackson, about where you would pull over to go into the rest area in the westbound lane. That kind of is the line of where it will be if you're headed toward Jackson. This will go all the way through Vicksburg, taking in Brookhaven, Natchez, all the way toward the coast, but not affecting the East Mississippi area. Now, that will change as we look at Friday. We've got a chance of severe weather. Southern Lauderdale County, all of Clark, portions of Newton, Scott, and all of Clark and Jasper County will be under a level 2. Now, this has been changing back and forth as we watch this of the severity levels. Level 2, anywhere in this yellow, is tornadic activity possible. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't happen north of I-20, but right now, everything indicating that tornadoes could be south of 20. We'll watch this very closely. We're days away from it, so this can change. It can go up or down or move a little bit to the west. We'll watch it and let you know with this. It's going to be Friday morning during the afternoon hours. Now, this started out originally, it would be affecting us in the wee hours of Thursday night. They've changed that now and put it at daylight, affecting our area. So if you got to have bad weather, I'd much rather it be during the daytime. I think most of us feel that way. At least you can open a curtain and look out and see what it's doing. At night, Katie, bar the door. I don't like it. You can't see what's coming only when lightning happens. But we'll watch this very closely. Again, if you've never watched our weather coverage, make sure to be here. Be a part of the team of what we do each and every time it gets bad. Flash flooding, look at this. Late Thursday night into Friday, it's going to flood. I've even seen in some instances it could be up to possibly 3 inches more. We'll watch it. Again, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be overriding some of these creeks, isn't it? As we look at this, we're kind of normal here into Tennessee. It's hotter, but we're normal across Mississippi and East Texas right now. As the forecast calls, here we go. 60 to 90% chance. It kind of changes as it goes. We're going with 60% at this point. As we move into today, 74 for that high. As we get to tomorrow, it gets better, 78. 54 for a low as we get to Friday. Thursday, still good at 79 and only a smidgen of a chance of rain. And all of that changes on Friday there with that 90% chance of showers. Saturday, not too bad, 30% chance. You'll be able to get some things done. And then into Sunday, we'll get 64, a little bit cooler, but no rain. Back to work on Monday. Look at that. A cloudy sky, but no rain. As we move apart from this, we see sunshine. Small chances there on the 14th and then again on the 16th. But overall, we're getting into the 70s and sunshine weather. It'll be better. And, yep, I know y'all have noticed this. The grass is growing, isn't it? It won't stop. Have mercy. As we look at this, what's our fishing forecast doing? Chet tells us perfect time is this morning about 20 till 8. We'll call it 7:40 until about 10 a.m. if you're going fishing. Tonight, it'll be after dark before it gets great again. A slight chance of good fishing as we get into noontime, if you just got to go. Wind's going to be east about 10 miles an hour as we look at that. So a lot to consider as we get this day going. Again, as we said, we got a big show coming up. We're going to give you the rundown of what we know, what went on in Newton County yesterday. Whew, that's scary. We'll tell you what we know and where we are on all of that. If you got a question about roads, we got Rush in the house. He'll be here to answer your questions. You can put it in the comments. We'll answer as many as we can. Bridges, that's what we're here to talk about, where we are on all of that and when we get all those repaired. Well, we got some questions coming up. Let's see, Darlene, good morning to you there. Good to see you, Miss LaWanda again, Jean Ulmer, Miss Darlene. So glad to see y'all out there as we get this day underway. Right now, 63. We'll be back in just a few moments. Odie joins the gang. We'll be here at 7 with the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.